My next guest, quite a prolific career. Her first book, Miracle Cure, How to Solve America's Healthcare Crisis and Why Canada Isn't the Answer. Second book, The Top 10 Myths of American Healthcare, A Citizen's Guide. The Cure for Obamacare was released in 2013. The Pipes Plan, The Top 10 Ways to Dismantle and Replace Obamacare. The Truth About Obamacare. She writes a biweekly column for Forbes called Piping Up. And she's president and CEO of the Pacific Research Institute. Please welcome back to the program, Sally Pipes. Well, Sally, we have a lot of hay to plow through.
Yes.
Sally, can we start with this Johns Hopkins thing? Now, from what I can tell, the study comes out, and this researcher, she appears to have really good credentials, says, look, when you look at all deaths in America, there really hasn't been a spike because for whatever reason, the number of people attributed to having died from heart attacks or strokes has been added to the number of people that have died from COVID-19. So the overall number really isn't that much different. And then a couple of days later, Johns Hopkins puts out a statement, Sally, and says, I'm sorry, wrong, we retract this. What's going on?
Well, I like to say, it's an old saying, statistics are a lot like sausages. You like them a whole lot better if you don't know what went into them. And I think, this is the case with COVID. Larry, there only have been, 274,000 deaths in the U.S. From COVID out of a total number of almost 2 million. But, only 6% of the people have died from the COVID alone. The rest of the people had a comorbidity rate of 2.6. A lot of these people that, died, 85% are over age 65. They were in nursing homes. A lot of them had heart issues, stroke issues, cancer issues. So I think the author, Genevieve Bryant, did a very good job of really telling the truth, just like Scott Atlas, in many cases, who just resigned as the president's advisor on the pandemic, had a lot of good information. But the mainstream media and public health officials seem to have the idea that they have to scare people to death and really come out with a lot of untruths when, a lot of the lockdowns and things, are destroying our economy, destroying people's health. Look at the number of people, Americans. 81% of docs, Larry, have said their revenue is down since before the pandemic. And a lot of it is because Americans are afraid to go to the doctor. And this is going to have a huge impact on cancer survival rates, colorectal, breast cancer, prostate cancer. So I think, the media has really scared people. And I think that she was right. The number of deaths is not that alarming.
So Sally, so essentially they threw her under the bus. Has she made a statement? Has she stood by her research? What caused Johns Hopkins to do the 180, Sally?
Well, I think it was they probably got pressure from people within the CDC, within the medical community, because this newsletter that came out was not from the School of Medicine. I think they probably had a lot of pressure about it, and I think we're seeing that in many cases with the coronavirus.
All right, Sally, let's talk about this breathtaking bombshell that CNN reported, something that people like Epoch Times have been reporting for months, and that is that China, shockingly, has been lying about the coronavirus, lying about when they first heard about it, lying about where it first originated, lying about human-to-human transmission. They have been lying from the very beginning. And CNN, Sally, has acquired some documents that show this.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's just. It is not. As Milton Friedman used to say, China is a communist country, and the government runs everything, including what statistics come out. What facts actually come out. So there's, in many aspects of our life and information that comes from China, it is totally incorrect. And so it's really a shame that. Actually, I hand it to President Trump when he said in February, I'm shutting down travel to China. President-elect Joe Biden, harassed him about it. But it was a good thing because we can't rely on statistics that come out of China.
And Sally Pipes, don't you think it's interesting that CNN has suddenly acquired these documents that show that China has been lying, something that President Trump has been saying from the very beginning of this pandemic, and now all of a sudden, after the election is over and been declared for Joe Biden, CNN has this cache of documents that suddenly show that Donald Trump was right. China has been lying from day one.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think the mainstream media, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, they don't want the American public, to know the truth, and they don't report, in many cases, the truth. I mean, you have to go to Fox and Newsmax and the Larry Elder Show for people to get the truth about these things. And I think, looking at the vaccine, I think I'm going to be really distressed if President-elect Biden does become the president and he takes credit for the vaccine. It was President Trump that pushed the FDA and the Operation Warp Speed to get these vaccines, developed, and now, the emergency use authorization hearings will be December 10th and 17th. And, Alex Azar said within, a couple of weeks, these vaccines will be available. Where else in the world, is this happening? It's, President Trump is to be credited with getting a quick, response and solution to this. And we need to get the economy back on track, kids back to school, restaurants open, people employed.
I'm talking to Sally Pipes, President and CEO of the Pacific Research Institute. Sally, do you think that the Pfizer CEO knew that the vaccine was going to be effective before the election and waited until days after the election to make the announcement?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I don't know him personally, but I do think they definitely had pre-knowledge that they had some very good information. It was really too bad that that didn't come out, prior to November 3rd. I think it would have had a major impact on the election and the outcome of the election. And same, and Moderna has a 94.5% success rate with their vaccine as well. And I think this information would have been so helpful to voters.
Sally, we only have a minute left. Give me Sally Pipes' take on face masks.
Oh, face masks, yes. Well, I think, there was something came out recently, I think it was from the CDC the other day, saying that the only mask that is totally effective is the N95. I have some N95 masks, and I don't know whether you've worn one, Larry. They're extremely uncomfortable. They're extremely hot. But I think, it's just ridiculous. I mean, walking down the street, in your own yard, and, I think the face masks are not effective.
We're going to have to leave it there. Sally Pipes, as always, thank you very much for coming on. President and CEO of the Pacific Research Institute. Sally, as always, appreciate it.
Thanks, Larry. Take care.
Take care.